With a heart panting for the people, a quest to deliver on campaign promises, and a will to take Nigeria onto the path of rapid development across sectors, the Tinubu administration resumed governance with zeal. To ensure that this social contract is not voidable, everyone had to come aboard the good governance train, the ministers taking the front row as they commit to the development of the country with performance bond. How well is that working out? This edition of Dateline 360 examines some critical sectors of the economy and how they have fared in the last year. I'm Omotola Omojola, and it is always a pleasure to be with you. We start with finance and economy, and Nneka Oko reports that economic experts, while reviewing performance of the economy and finance sector in the last year, affirmed that President Bola Tinubu's economic reforms are promising, but require continuous refinement, effective implementation, as well as complementary policies to address lingering challenges for sustainability and inclusive growth.
The Minister of Finance occupies a central position in Nigeria's governance structure and critical to President Tinubu administration's effort to spur economic growth in Nigeria. As the custodian of government's fiscal policies, the ministry is responsible for formulating and implementing strategies that contribute to macroeconomic stability and sustainable development. In the past 1 year, the ministry has made progress in steering the country's economy towards a path of recovery and resilience in spite of prevailing economic challenges.
For me, the 1 year has been clearly against it. 1 year has been a period for stabilizing the economy. The 1 year has been a kind of a learning curve.
The country's gross domestic product growth saw a notable increase of 3.46% year-on-year in fourth quarter of 2023, surpassing expectations and demonstrating a positive trajectory. This growth was supported by a 67% rise in capital importation during the same period, as well as a substantial reduction in petrol importation by 50% following the removal of petrol subsidies.
The CBN governor has done their own effort. I can tell you, especially in the area of forex, they have made a lot of intervention. They have put up a lot of effort. Among the effort is the reduction of the Bureau change. You remember our Bureau change, there were over 5,000. They are bringing them to about 1,000 plus, and they have rescinded some of their willing buyer, willing seller of forex by making sure that they actually tell them how much they sell dollar, and they also give them foreign currency to trade.
The Nigerian Stock Exchange achieved a historic milestone in January 2024, with the all-share index ASI crossing the 100,000 mark for the first time, reflecting investor confidence and market optimism. Oil production also witnessed a commendable increase in the fourth quarter of 2023, indicating growth in that critical sector of the economy.
I think the Ministry of Finance has actually done well. We only hope they can sustain those things. The sustainability actually matters, because for price of goods to be cheap in the market, that simply means there's a level of stability. So if we have stability, we are going to have development in Nigeria economy.
The ministry's proactive fiscal reforms undoubtedly plays a key role in revitalizing the economy, especially after the removal of petrol subsidies, which had previously incurred significant costs for the country. However, inflation remains a pressing concern, hovering around 33.2% and eroding the purchasing power of Nigerians. The latest Consumer Price Index (CPI) report from the National Bureau of Statistics indicates that food inflation, which makes up more than 50% of headline inflation, continues to increase for the 15th consecutive time, reaching 40.01% in March compared to 37.92% in February. Unemployment also remains stubbornly high, and the ministry faces pressure to address these issues to sustain economic growth.
Look at the two policies introduced: foreign exchange unification and subsidy removal. Nobody will tell you that we don't require that. We need it. But then, the process of implementation has unintended consequences. The unintended consequences were not anticipated at this level, so it's affecting performance. Another area I want to score them is let us do more communication, stakeholders consultation, so that you do not introduce a policy and when there are backlash, you reverse yourself. Well, the hallmark of accepting when you are wrong is a good leadership quality. I agree. But I want to say that why can't we explore stakeholders consultation, communication with people before we go on and implement policies?
The focus, analysts say, remains on sustaining the positive economic momentum achieved so far, addressing remaining challenges, and fostering sustainable growth and development. The coming year will be crucial in assessing whether the Ministry of Finance can continue to deliver on its mandate and drive Nigeria towards greater prosperity under the leadership of President Tinubu. For Dateline 360, Neka Oko.
From that look at the finance and economy sector, let's check out one of the enablers of a thriving economy, and I'm talking about power. The federal government in the last 1 year set targets to turn around the power sector and improve electricity supply in the country. And this came with reforms and interventions that shaped the sector in the last 12 months of the present administration. Joshua Ojito takes a look at events in the power sector under Tinubu presidency and efforts at achieving sufficient electricity supply.
It's been 1 year of the Tinubu administration, and government says it has been adopting brick-by-brick approach to turn around the power sector for improved electricity supply that will energize the economy.
Achieving this target requires long list of initiatives and executive commitments, and the signing into law of Electricity Act 2023 by President Bola Tinubu, industry players describe as a game changer in the Nigeria electricity supply industry.
We are really on track to address the root cause of the problems that we are experiencing in the sector.
We are ready to take better charge of ourselves. So NERC felt a few states were ripe to be given this order to take control of the industry. So Ekiti, Ondo, and Enugu are 3 of the 36 states that order has been given, and it will start May 1.
While subnationals are setting machineries in motion to attract investors into the market in their states, the Tinubu administration is investing in generation with a target of achieving 6,000 megawatts of electricity in the next 6 months and 20,000 megawatts within the next few years. To achieve this target, the administration concessioned the newly built Zungeru hydroelectric power plant, generating 700 megawatts of electricity to the national grid, while 40 megawatts of electricity is also being evacuated to the grid from the Kashimbila multipurpose dam in Taraba State.
There must be some level of generation output coming from each state, embedded within the state to complement or augment grid generation.
While the administration is working on increasing generation, the transmission and distribution networks are receiving attention to strengthen the capacity of the infrastructure to wield power that will be distributed to end users. To this end, President Tinubu signed a memorandum of understanding with German Chancellor to accelerate implementation of Siemens project, which is to strengthen transmission and distribution networks. So far, 10 mega transformers and mobile substations have been delivered and are currently being installed in parts of the country. The rehabilitation and expansion project to upgrade obsolete transmission infrastructure is being implemented by the Transmission Company of Nigeria. However, vandalization of transmission towers and other power infrastructure remain a challenge, impeding power supply, with increased cases in northeast and north-central parts of the country in the last 1 year.
Transmission is seriously handicapped because they cannot stand by every tower all over the country to say we are monitoring them. But they can also go ahead to work with community people, work with them at a minimal cost in such a way that if they see anything, let them say something. Let them interrogate those they see around those transmission towers who are going there to do one or two things, and then they are able to send information so that you cannot adopt a preventive rather than a reactive approach.
In line with the multi-year tariff order, electricity tariff was increased, but only for customers on Band A from 68 Naira kilowatt per hour to 206 Naira 80 kobo, with assurance of 20 hours daily supply, while tariff for customers in other bands remain frozen as they continue to enjoy federal government subsidy in the sector.
There are targets that are being provided for the distribution companies, which the Commission will monitor and review from time to time to ensure the migration of other customers to better service.
With sustained engagements among industry players to reset and realign the power sector, stakeholders and electricity customers are hopeful that the key performance indicators of the present administration and its target for the power sector can be achieved, thereby ensuring available electricity supply nationwide. For Dateline 360, Joshua Ojito, NTA News.
From power, we move to judiciary, where a lot has also been happening. As a third arm of government, the judiciary's mandate, among others, is to attend to disputes between and among individuals, corporate bodies, states, and federal government. The arm of government has also been reinventing itself since the coming on board of the current administration, spearheading reforms targeted at effective dispensation of substantial justice to the high and the low. In this report, correspondent Chukunonso Nwaboeze takes a look at some key performance indicators that have marked the sector's activities since May 29, 2023.
The justice sector is crucial to the performance of other sectors, as the legal system of any nation is key to the growth and development of that nation. For if the legal system aids quick dispensation of justice, it will no doubt enhance socio-economic development, attract foreign direct investment, as well as promote ease of doing business.
The justice sector within the last 1 year has recorded speedier dispensation of justice, which no doubt was brought about by deliberate steps to improve the working processes of the courts across the country. 2022-2023 legal year recorded an expansion in the utilization of virtual court proceedings in courts, including the High Courts in the FCT and the Apex Court, among others. Since justice delayed is justice denied judiciary under the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Olukayode Aliwola, in the course of the year obtained approval and swore in new judges and justices to man various courts across the land that require more manpower, particularly considering the increasing workload arising from more litigants seeking resolution of their disputes through the instrumentality of the law. These judicial officers are regularly given manpower training on the conduct, skills, and expectations necessary for them to make a success of their office as jurists, courtesy of the National Judicial Institute, the Federal Ministry of Justice, and their partners. In February this year, the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi SAN, at a performance contract signing retreat in Abuja for heads of agencies under the ministry, charged the 9 chief executive officers on ways of actualizing the ministerial deliverables in line with the presidential priority areas for the justice sector.
I will hold every head of agency to the highest standard of performance in line with the declarations you have made today. It is therefore imperative that you cascade the contents of your presentation to all levels of leadership in your agencies in order to ensure performance on the job and a clear understanding of your mandates under the performance bond.
The retreat equally provided the needed platform for the heads of the agencies to make commitments on their alignment with the sector plan of the ministry, the 2024 work plan developed from key performance indicators, as well as targets drawn from their agency strategic plan and SWOT analysis.
The ministerial deliverables, which we have aligned with our critical activities, also cuts across the agency's 5-pronged approaches.
Our deliverable one is promote measures to achieve speedy dispensation of justice, a critical activity provision of legal clinics, speedy dispensation. Our KPI is number of clinics established, Number of times also the clinics have held sessions. Number of engagements also with citizens.
Just recently, the Federal Ministry of Justice, the Nigeria Bar Association, and the National Judicial Council convened a national summit on justice to fashion out ways of repositioning the judicial sector for greater efficiency in justice dispensation. One of the low-hanging fruits of the summit is a resolve by the participants to embark on wholesale reforms of justice delivery process and further entrench the rule of law.
Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Matters, which I am heading, has already started working closely with the Office of the Attorney General towards that direction. And what this summit intends to achieve is in tandem with the resolution of the Senate to review all obsolete laws to bring them in tandem with realities of our society today.
I'm so very happy that this is coming at this time, and this clearly gives us hope that we will not have any hurdles, not only in my states, but also in other states, to be able to go ahead to implement policies that are, or that will resolve peculiar problems in the respective states.
In the aftermath of the 2023 general elections that took place in 28 states and the presidential election eventually won by President Bola Tinubu, 1,209 petitions that arose from the conduct of the polls were entertained by the election petition tribunals, with appeals heard on them. In a bid to motivate the sector, President Bola Tinubu extended his Renewed Hope initiative to the sector, increasing the 2024 judiciary budget from 165 billion naira to 342 billion naira. The significant jump in allocation, the president says, is an answer to persistent advocacy for increased funding of the sector, thereby ensuring true independence of the judiciary. This is in addition to Presidential and National Assembly ongoing approval for increased salary for judicial officers across the land.
With the ongoing reforms within the nation's justice system, it is believed that law and order will be maintained for the overall good of the people. For Dateline 360, I am Chukunonso Nwabueze.
Now to security. As part of measures to keep the country secure, President Bola Tinubu approved the procurement of 12 attack helicopters for the Nigerian Army, while the Nigerian Air Force is expecting delivery of 51 aircrafts to boost surveillance and ensure precision in attacking criminal camps and cells across the country. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa now highlights major support and development in the security and defense sector aimed at further securing the nation.
The Nigerian Police Force is the lead security agency in combating internal security threats.
To confront terrorism, kidnapping and communal clashes head-on, the present administration embarked on procurement of hardware to enhance the capacity of the force to tackle the emerging threats.
I want to start by appreciating His Excellency, Mr. President. Within the first few weeks in office, he assented to the Defense Industry of Nigeria Corporation of Nigeria Bill, DICON, where we have now transformed the defense industry from normal DICON to a military industrial complex. Now, that is a major achievement because it has opened the space now for Nigeria to have a major revolution in bringing in private sector into the business of production of arms and ammunition in the country, to make Nigeria self-sustaining, to save our foreign exchange, and at the same time also creating employment.
And to ensure institutions of learning are secured, the Safe School Initiative Squad was activated, and experts say is gradually curbing the menace of attacks on schools nationwide.
We have so far released over 1,000 of such victims without noise and in complete respect for their privacy and safety. We release people from Zamfara State, Sokoto State, Kaduna State, Katsina State, Taraba State, Adamawa State, and so many other states.
The project we have in mind is a whole society-based approach to school protection. We are not just training the security personnel, we are going to train members of the host communities in these affected community places. Because we believe that a well-secured community will equally have a well-secured school within its domain. So we are going to partner with members of the society. We're going to partner with the hunters, with the local vigilante, and ensure that we work together and bring out a very good security system for both the community and the schools within their domain.
In view of the dynamics and complex nature of these threats, the Nigerian Army has strengthened its formations with different armored personnel carriers and training to facilitate rapid response to security threats.
No more sit at home now in Olo now. At least people are walking around selling their markets.
Similarly, President Bola Tinubu approved the procurement of 12 attack helicopters to operationalize the Nigerian Army Aviation Unit and improve ground troops responsiveness.
Recently, the Ministry of Defense procured 20 armored personnel carriers, and more are on the way to be provided to the armed forces. The aim is to provide protection to our gallant soldiers. The warfare we're experiencing is a proliferation of improvised explosive devices in both the Northwest and the Northeast. We need to protect our officers in the war front so that they'll be able to fight and protect our country.
Army units and forward operation bases have been fortified with deployment of platforms and equipment to upscale troops' fighting power.
Our mandate is to bring peace and security to our dear country so that with peace there will be development. And so I want to encourage everyone, especially members of the public, to know that we're a team. We should all put hands to assist members of the armed forces, members of security agencies with information, timely information. For the members of the media, I want to also appeal that we as human beings will do make mistakes. When we make mistakes, that shouldn't be used to tarnish our image or make us feel bad. Because if you demoralize the troops, once they pack and say they are not going to do it again, I wonder how many of us will remain in Nigeria. So we should always understand that these people are standing by, staying awake day, night, under the sun, rain, dust, heat, just to ensure that others are able to sleep well or go and do their respective jobs.
The Nigerian Air Force, the elite arm of the Nigerian military, and the Navy have received several aircraft and vessels, while other platforms are being expected. This is to enhance surveillance and precision in attacking criminal camps and cells across the country.
Security agencies are appealing to Nigerians to see the ongoing task to further secure the nation as a collective responsibility by providing timely intelligence report to enhance proactive rather than reactive security operations. Ismail Musa reporting for Dateline 360.
Now that concludes this edition of Dateline 360. You can follow us on all our social media platforms to view this and other episodes of Dateline 360. I'm Omotola Omojola. On behalf of the production crew, I say thank you for your time. God bless Nigeria.